Welcome to our Immigration Briefing program. Today, we're diving into some compelling stories that are shaping our world. First up, we discuss how the UK is considering a new citizenship law aimed at restoring social trust by distinguishing between citizens and non-citizens more clearly. This proposed law could redefine access to voting, public services, and how criminal law applies, amidst a backdrop of growing diversity and eroding trust in societal institutions. Next, we shift our focus to Australia, where the government is proposing a cap on the growth of international student numbers. This move aims to manage the surge in overseas students and mitigate its impact on migration and population growth. It's a controversial decision that could reshape the future of education and migration in Australia, triggering an urgent meeting within the education sector. Lastly, we explore the contentious issue of big tech's involvement in global politics, particularly how US-based companies are allegedly supporting Israel's military actions against Palestinians through AI technology. This raises ethical questions about the role of technology in warfare and surveillance, and whether these corporations are indirectly participating in human rights violations. Stay tuned for detailed coverage on these stories. Please continue watching for more in-depth information. In the bustling corridors of power and academia, two nations grapple with the complexities of migration, citizenship, and the very fabric of their societies. From the United Kingdom to Australia, the debates rage on, with proposals and oppositions highlighting the tension between inclusivity and national identity, between openness and regulation. In the United Kingdom, David Goodhart, a prominent voice and founding editor of Prospect magazine, calls for a radical overhaul of citizenship laws, as reported by The Telegraph. Goodhart's proposal is nothing short of transformative, aiming to restore the eroded trust within the UK's radically diverse society. He envisions a new citizenship law that starkly distinguishes between citizens and non-citizens, stripping non-citizens of voting rights, clarifying their access to public services and welfare, and differentiating them in criminal law. Goodhart's bold suggestions don't stop there. He advocates for the UK's withdrawal from the European Convention on Human Rights and the introduction of ID cards to verify entitlements. His rationale? Citizenship should be a sacred contract, a balance of rights and responsibilities that has been diluted by liberal universalism and a modern penchant for kindness. The goal, according to Goodhart, is to restore social trust and cement a shared identity, ensuring the UK remains a high-trust society. Meanwhile, within the UK government, a contentious debate unfolds as civil servants push back against the publication of crime tables for migrants, another Telegraph report reveals. These tables, supported by 40 Conservative MPs, would annually disclose the crime rates of migrants by nationality in England and Wales, ostensibly to gauge the scale of criminality among specific migrant groups. The Home Office appears to back the initiative, aiming for transparency and accountability. However, the opposition from civil servants, who argue that such tables fall outside the scope of the Criminal Justice Bill, underscores the delicate balance between informing the public and potentially stigmatizing entire communities. Across the oceans, in Australia, the government confronts its own migration dilemmas, as detailed by the Sydney Morning Herald. Faced with a surge in international students, the Australian government proposes a cap on their growth at universities and other educational institutions. This drastic measure aims to curtail the 15% growth rate to a more manageable 5%, addressing concerns over migration and population impacts. The proposed legislation would empower the education minister to set enrollment limits, a move designed to align the education system with the national interest rather than the financial ambitions of universities. Yet, this proposal has sparked an urgent meeting within the education sector, with fears that it could damage the industry and send a discouraging message to prospective international students. These narratives from the UK and Australia illuminate the global struggle to navigate the challenges of migration, citizenship, and social cohesion. As nations strive to balance openness with regulation, the debates over citizenship laws, crime statistics, and international student caps reveal the underlying tensions between welcoming diversity and preserving national identity. In this ever-evolving discourse, the quest for a harmonious, high-trust society continues, with each proposal and counterproposal marking a step in the journey toward understanding and integration. In a world where technology has become an extension of human capability, the ethical implications of its use have never been more scrutinized. An op-ed published by Al Jazeera throws a harsh light on the role of US-based big tech companies, including giants like Google, Amazon, Microsoft, and IBM, in supporting what the author describes as Israel's AI-powered genocide and apartheid against Palestinians. These companies, often seen as the pinnacle of innovation and progress, stand accused of providing the Israeli military with the core infrastructure necessary for their AI programs. These programs, according to the article, have facilitated a level of destruction in Palestine that is hard to comprehend, with close to 35,000 Palestinians, including over 14,500 children, reported as casualties. The involvement of these tech behemoths, although not directly hands-on, is significant as they supply essential components like computer chips, software, and cloud computing services. This support extends beyond just military applications to reinforcing Israeli surveillance and control over Palestinians, drawing a parallel with the historical East India companies in their role as instruments of imperial power. The narrative around the ethical responsibilities of big tech is further complicated by incidents that highlight the intersection of technology, politics, and human rights. For instance, the recent arrest of a fourth Indian national in Canada, connected to the killing of a Sikh separatist leader, underscores the global nature of these concerns. This case, reported by Yahoo US, not only emphasizes the reach of international law enforcement but also the delicate balance between national security and individual freedoms. Technology, with its unparalleled ability to connect and surveil, plays a central role in such scenarios, raising questions about the extent to which companies should be accountable for how their products are used. Further illustrating the dire consequences of conflict and the role of technology, a report from CBC sheds light on the plight of nearly 200 Palestinians who, in their desperate attempt to escape the horrors of war in Gaza, sought refuge in Canada. These individuals, having managed to flee Gaza and obtain Canadian approval, found themselves trapped due to the Israeli military campaign in Rafah, effectively closing off their exit. The closure of this critical passage, amidst an already devastating conflict, highlights the complex interplay between military actions, geopolitical strategies, and the desperate human desire for safety and freedom. Technology, in this context, could have offered a lifeline through communication, coordination, and logistical support, yet it also serves as a tool in the arsenal of those enforcing the blockade. The involvement of U.S. big tech in these scenarios is a potent reminder of the dual-edged nature of technology. On one hand, it holds the promise of advancing human progress, connecting us in ways previously unimaginable, and opening doors to new realms of knowledge and understanding. On the other, it can be wielded as a weapon, a means of surveillance, and a tool of oppression, reinforcing the structures of power that divide the world. The allegations against these companies for their complicity in Israeli crimes against Palestinians, as outlined in the Al Jazeera piece, serve as a stark illustration of this paradox. The authors call for popular pressure to hold these corporations accountable, envisioning a future where they might find themselves in court for their actions, underscores the growing demand for ethical considerations to be at the forefront of technological innovation and application. In conclusion, the intersection of technology, ethics, and geopolitics presents a complex web of challenges and opportunities. As the world grapples with the consequences of big tech's involvement in international conflicts and human rights abuses, the need for a more ethical and accountable approach to technology has never been clearer. Whether it's the role of tech companies in supporting military operations, their involvement in international incidents, or their potential to aid those in dire need, the decisions made today will shape the ethical landscape of tomorrow. The stories from Al Jazeera, Yahoo US, and CBC serve as a reminder of the profound impact technology has on our world, urging us to consider the legacy we wish to leave for future generations. In a gripping series of events that reads like a thriller novel, Canadian authorities recently announced the arrest of a fourth Indian suspect in connection to the murder of Sikh separatist leader Hardeep Singh Nijjar. According to Yahoo US, this murder, which took place in the parking lot of a Sikh temple in British Columbia last June, has not only shaken the local community but also sparked a diplomatic spat between Canada and India. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's assertion of credible allegations pointing towards Indian involvement in the murder has further fueled the controversy, especially against the backdrop of India's accusations against Nijjar of having links to terrorism and Canada's alleged sheltering of him. This case exemplifies the complex interplay between national security, international diplomacy, and community safety, leaving many awaiting the next development in this international saga. Across the pond, the UK's political landscape is experiencing its own turmoil, as reported by The Guardian. Labour leader Keir Starmer finds himself at the centre of controversy and disbelief following the defection of right-wing former Tory MP Natalie Elphicke to Labour. Elphicke, who has previously defended her ex-husband Charlie Elphicke after his conviction of sexually assaulting two women, has sparked a wave of shock and discontent within Westminster and beyond. Her accusations against the Tories for failing to keep the border secure and her decision to join Labour have left constituents and local Labour figures reeling, with some branding her a toxic, divisive figure. This move, however, is seen by Starmer's team as a testament to Labour's inclusivity, signaling that the party is open to all, despite the evident challenges and criticisms from within and outside the party. The reaction to Elphick's defection underscores the delicate balance Starmer must maintain in broadening Labour's appeal while uniting its diverse factions. While some view this political maneuver as a sign of Labour's moderation and its ability to attract former Tories, others see it as a betrayal of the party's core values. The mixed reactions from Dover's constituents, expressing a general disillusionment with politics, highlight the broader challenge of restoring faith in political institutions and representatives. Meanwhile, in Australia, the Sydney Morning Herald reports a record surge in onshore international student visa applications, casting doubt on the Labor government's commitment to controlling the post-pandemic explosion in foreign enrollments. This unprecedented increase not only reflects the global mobility and aspirations of international students but also poses significant policy and infrastructure challenges for Australia. Balancing the economic benefits of international education with the need for sustainable management and integration of foreign students into Australian society is now more crucial than ever. These stories, from the chilling murder of a Sikh separatist leader in Canada and the political shockwaves of a defection in the UK to the policy dilemmas faced by Australia amidst a surge in international student applications, reveal the intricate and often unexpected ways in which law, politics, and social issues intersect across the globe. Each narrative, rich in detail and complexity, offers a unique glimpse into the challenges and dynamics shaping our world today. In a world where geopolitical tensions often transcend the battlefield, economic strategies and financial maneuvers become as critical as military operations. The Telegraph brings to light China's strategic moves to fortify its economy against potential confrontations with the West. Amidst the specter of sanctions similar to those faced by Russia post-Ukraine invasion, China is not sitting idly by. The nation has been actively engaging with both domestic and foreign banks, seeking ways to shield its economy from the adverse effects of such punitive measures. The drive towards financial autonomy is evident in China's push to internationalize the renminbi and its development of alternative payment systems like the Cross-Border Interbank Payment System, CIPS. This initiative could significantly diminish the impact of Western sanctions, challenging the dominance of the US dollar and the overarching Western financial system. Moreover, China's accumulation of gold reserves and the reduction of its U.S. Treasuries holdings signify a deliberate effort to decouple from the Western financial orbit. Yet, as China embarks on this ambitious journey to reconfigure the global financial landscape, it faces a road fraught with challenges and limitations. The West, for its part, has not remained passive, indicating a brewing financial tug-of-war on the global stage. Meanwhile, in Australia, a different kind of pressure is mounting on opposition leader Peter Dutton, as reported by the Sydney Morning Herald. The case of Syed Younes Tahami, a man released from immigration detention by the former coalition government, who has since been convicted of carrying an illegal weapon and charged with assault, is stirring controversy. Tahami's release and subsequent criminal activities have reignited debates over the country's migration policy, especially in light of a high court ruling that prohibits indefinite immigration detention if deportation is not imminent. This incident, along with another involving former detainee Majid Jamshidi Dakashkan, underscores the complexities and challenges of managing migration and public safety, putting the spotlight on the decision-making processes of past and present governments. On a more uplifting note, the Toronto Star shares a heartwarming initiative that underscores the power of community and philanthropy. The annual Fresh Air Fund campaign, aimed at sending underprivileged children to summer camps across Ontario, is a testament to the generosity and spirit of the Toronto Star's staff and its readers. With a fundraising goal of $650,000, the campaign seeks to offer thousands of children the chance to explore the great outdoors, fostering a sense of adventure and creating memories that last a lifetime. This initiative not only highlights the importance of providing opportunities for children to connect with nature but also demonstrates the impact collective action can have on enriching the lives of the younger generation. These stories, spanning from the strategic economic preparations of a global superpower to the local efforts aimed at bringing joy to underprivileged children, illustrate the diverse and complex world we inhabit. Whether it's navigating the intricate web of international finance, addressing the challenges of migration and public safety, or simply giving kids a chance to enjoy the summer, these narratives reflect the multifaceted nature of our global society. In a move that has sparked widespread interest and debate, the Canadian government is taking decisive action to address the plight of the so-called lost Canadians. According to the Globe and Mail, Ottawa is preparing a bill aimed at reinstating citizenship rights for this unique group of individuals. These lost Canadians found themselves stripped of their automatic right to citizenship due to a 2009 legislative change. This change affected children born outside of Canada to a Canadian parent who was also born abroad. The government's proposed bill seeks to reverse the situation, requiring Canadian parents born outside the country to demonstrate substantial ties to Canada before their children, born overseas, can be granted citizenship. This legislative effort is not just a bureaucratic adjustment, it aims to restore a sense of belonging and identity to an estimated 3 million Canadians living abroad. The implications of this move are profound, offering a renewed sense of hope and inclusion to those who felt unjustly excluded from their heritage. Meanwhile, across the Atlantic, the UK political landscape is witnessing the emergence of a new and controversial figure. Dominic Cummings, the former advisor to Prime Minister Boris Johnson, is making headlines with the announcement of his new political party, the Startup Party. As reported by The Telegraph, Cummings has positioned his party as a radical departure from the status quo, targeting issues such as immigration, tax loopholes for the wealthy, public service investment, and civil service reform. Despite his claim of focusing on the voters rather than Westminster and the media, critics have been quick to point out the irony in Cummings' approach, especially given his past advocacy for lockdown measures during the COVID-19 pandemic. The formation of the Startup Party under Cummings' leadership has ignited a debate on his role and influence in British politics, raising questions about his vision for the UK's future. In another development that has caught the public's attention, the UK Passport Office is facing scrutiny over its handling of passport applications. The Telegraph reports that the office has paid out over £850,000, $1.2 million, in compensation between 2019 and the end of 2021 due to a significant increase in complaints. The surge in complaints, which resulted in payouts more than doubling from around 2,000 to 4,200 over the same period, highlights the challenges faced by the Passport Office in managing increased demand and administrative delays post-COVID-19 restrictions. Last year, the daily compensation payments exceeded £1,000, with average payouts of around £120 over the past 5 years. This situation has forced some applicants to resort to premium services to expedite their applications, further exacerbating the financial burden on taxpayers. These stories, from Canada's legislative efforts to restore citizenship rights to the controversial emergence of a new political party in the UK and the Passport Office's compensation payouts, reflect a broader theme of governmental and institutional challenges and changes. Whether it's addressing historical oversights, navigating the complexities of political reform, or managing administrative inefficiencies, these developments offer a glimpse into the ongoing efforts to respond to the needs and concerns of citizens in a rapidly evolving global context. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.